briefly, what's your name, where you're from, and why are you up so early on a Saturday morning?
Okay, hi. My name is Jeffrey Wilson, and I am 23. I've lived in Rhode Island all my life. I lived in the southern part of Warwick, which is a city obviously near Providence. But I basically came up this morning because I take all of what happens during the daytime and I make music based upon what I see, what I feel, the environment, things I hear, and I eventually want to make music for, games, movies, that kind of stuff. And it interests me because what happens throughout the day makes me encouraged to make music and inspires me to do what I do and do what I love.
What's wrong with Warwick? Why must you be here?
I like to travel a lot. I grew up in Warwick most of my life, but I always wanted to branch out and go to new places, meet new people, do new things. So having that ability to travel and to have new experiences is one of the things that makes me, intrigued not just for what I love to do, but also my life in general, where life will take me in the long run, And I think that's a great thing to have.
So what did you do this morning?
This morning I woke up, grabbed my morning coffee, and decided to come down and see if any of my friends were around to, hang out and talk and have a good time. Because if you don't have friends, it's always good to make new people and make new friends in general. So I feel like I'm, going out of the way to enjoy life, at least have friends there to make it more fruitful and so that, you can continue your life to live the way you want to. So I believe that's something, that everyone should have, and that's kind of why I come up, because every day I always try to, say hi to my friends and, and enjoy life for what it is.
So what are you doing in terms of what takes the most of your days nowadays?
Well, at heart I'm a gamer, so I love making music for video games. I also travel. I also work up in Boston for my friend's landscaping company. So if I'm usually there throughout the weekends or weekdays, I tend to, visit the city. It's a great city. Like I said, traveling is one of my favorite things to do. And I don't know, just, live the day as I need to. Just walk around, see new things, make new music. It's usually what I do every day. So, yeah.
So are you on a school program or big project or anything?
I'm currently making music as basically, I guess, demos in a sense to eventually make CDs, whatever. I do a lot of beat making. That's why I basically use software on my phone. Or if I'm actually at my college, I tend to make music there with the pianos, the guitars, the drums. I play a lot of instruments. So having the, capacity of making music is kind of my focus when it comes to my projects in a sense. So.
How did that interest in music came about?
So when I was a kid, my mother used to be a pianist. She used to play all the time. She used to play to make me fall asleep at night. And as a kid, I never really understood piano because, I was very little. Didn't really have, a lot of thoughts into what I was doing. But growing up as an adult, I kind of was like, oh, maybe I'll pick up on this. Maybe I'll pick up on that. So one of my friends originally had a keyboard. He's like, oh, why not just, bang on it and see if you can play something. And that's kind of how I started originally, with piano being the strongest thing I do. Is because not only was it kind of my mother who started it, it was more or less me developing my own path and own way to make my own music. So in a sense, yeah, I basically started ever since I was a kid. So and growing up has made it even better, and I've become a lot better than I was back in the past. So
your dream is?
My dream, my lifelong dream. Let's say a long goal. My futuristic long goal is to actually work for video game companies to make music that inspires people to love the games and play them, but also be like, wow, this is a great piece of music. Maybe I can make it one like this myself, you know? I want to work for companies maybe in the future like Nintendo of America, Sony, you know, maybe Microsoft, maybe with Xbox, or, you know, maybe some indie developers. So this is kind of like what I want to do, is just make music in general, just because, for one, it's a fun thing to do, and two, I love what I do. So being able to do both and working at a job that I'd love to have eventually is probably one of the best things for me to do. So that's kind of why I feel like that's my long goal. For right now, it's more or less just making demos and getting what I have to get done, so that maybe one day I'll be recognized, and hopefully, you know, that my path will go really far from there.
What could RI4C TV do to help?
I feel like RCT kind of will broaden horizons when it comes to not only video capture, but also an audio capture. Because if you think about it, whenever you try to capture the moment, or even music, try to capture the image in your mind, you know, the best quality video and audio is usually the best. So I think that with RTV, I feel like, you know, like it'll help me kind of start where I am now and maybe go way ahead in the future. At least it's like a stepping stone, you know, something to make it progressively better in a sense. So I feel like in the long run it does help, and I feel like having the capacity to be in collaboration with another, you know, YouTube fan base eventually may help me out, you know, and I feel like this is a good opportunity.
Did you do YouTube before?
I attempted a while back. I always wanted to, you know, show my, you know, face and have a name for myself, you know, but I always was scared that I never thought it would really happen in reality. I always thought that I would always be overshadowed by other people and other, you know, different types of, you know, blockades that block my way into trying to focus on getting there. YouTube, I mean, I watch it every day. You know, I watch all my gamers and all my music and listen to it all on there. I mean, eventually I want to get back onto YouTube. That's kind of my thing. But getting there is kind of hard, because you have to have to push yourself and make yourself very strideful to get there. And eventually, yes, I do want to get back into making videos on YouTube. You know, that's kind of like where I think the best way to start, even with my career path, is going to go to. So.
What do you think of doing a long series on RI4C TV so that viewers can follow the development of your career?
I think that's actually a pretty good idea, actually, myself, because it can show that for where I am now, not really known in general, to eventually showing people that it takes, you know, a while to, you know, go far and go the mile, rather than being not able to do anything and just not accomplishing much. So being able to show progressively getting better, even with my music in general, I feel like it's a pretty good opportunity to have, because for one, I eventually, like I said, want to make games, you know, with music together at the same time, but also I feel like in the art of photography, like I said, when it comes to images and clarity and music and audio, I feel like it's a really good experience, in that I feel like it's going to be something that is worthwhile, and that I probably take the offer. So, yeah.
So I'm going to ask okay. I want to tell you a small story before I ask this question.
Okay.
This is my stand-up procedure.
Okay.
In 2005, in front of many graduates at Stanford University, Steve Jobs gave a speech.
Oh, right.
The second most important sentence in that speech ends up with 6 words, and I'm going to borrow them to ask you the question.
Okay.
What you truly want to become?
That's a good question. Me personally, I don't see it for the fame. I see it as an accomplishment. What I want to do, you know, who I want to become as a person that is successful, a person that always doesn't see it for the fame, a person that sees it in the eyes for the fans, more or less for myself, because being successful, having a group of people to support you, will better yourself to becoming successful. And I feel like that's my goal, is to become a successful person and to be able to spread that to other people who also love what I love.
Do you agree that to become successful, we need to first understand the objective, universal meaning of what success is?
So, in order to be successful, objectives are a great way to tackle the situation. To having a fair ground, a medium ground, and a high ground are basically subpar objectives to getting where you're going. Starting somewhere small is best. The small objective is to grab people's attention, you know, broaden the horizons to make things better, progressively better over time. You know, create that fan base that people may or may not want, but, you know, that's just where the starting point is. The middle ground, if directions go in a good direction, if directions go in a better direction than it is now, meaning, you know, fair ground. The middle ground is, you know, getting progressively better, making music, having more demonstrations, putting my music out there. That's the middle ground for the second objective. And then the final thing, going the long run, is since, you know, by the time that happens, you know, maybe having that fan base or having a base in general, a group of people to support me, will get me to where I have to go with maybe the final steps being, you know, an indie developer for music or, you know, audio and whatever. And also having that full grasp that all the goals that I've accomplished prior have taken me to where I would be, you know, that by then. So having objectives is good, and getting there is the best key, because knowing from where you used to be at the bottom, there's only place to go up is to go up. So that's kind of, you know, what I feel like when it comes to objectives and success. Being successful is accomplishing past goals that were hard, or, you know, not being able to tackle as easily. So being successful is to believe in yourself. That's the first thing. Believing in yourself is the best way to become successful, because if you know that whatever you're working with, whether it be music, photography, whatever, and, you know, getting and having the goals to get to where you're at and having the talents to do it, will go far. So, and that's why I think successful is, you know, for me, is at least getting from somewhere that you would never, you know, where you were in a hard place and trying to, you know, achieve and move on from it.